Oh, shit.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Dead Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Joining me today is my co-host, Mandy, Cody, and Bree. We're here for another podcast. Yes, episode 37, I think. I'm probably wrong, but I'm probably right. Who fucking knows?
37.
We're in the
37.
30s. I know that much. So, to start this off, because this just popped up on my phone, I got a group text with my friends, and they just sent this, and it's a Reddit post. And it says, I know Mandy is probably way done with all this by now, but in Game of Thrones Season 8, Daenerys' last words were, "We break the will together," which backwards spells Reed Got Lehal Eth Carb Oo, which doesn't make any sense, just like the rest of Season 8. I was like, that's pretty fucking good, dude. That's pretty fucking good.
A+ joke. I'm proud of you. That's a good joke.
Is that her last words? Because I don't remember her saying anything.
She says, "We'll break the will together."
Wasn't she your favorite character? Should you like have that memorized?
She was, but I'm actually pretty hard at hearing things, so wouldn't be surprised. I didn't even remember her saying that, so it wouldn't surprise me.
I guess maybe she was only your favorite character right up to the genocide, and then all of a sudden,
she's all like, "I don't know why I'm still watching."
Yeah.
No, she was still my favorite character because I knew that the directors were just last season because they didn't have their source material.
You know, that's actually
So it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
That's actually something that's going to be interesting, considering the fact we were talking about this off screen right before we started recording about Elden Ring, and that the story to that is actually written by George R.R. Martin.
Is it?
Yeah. The entire story of the
he's
game.
doing anything but Game of Thrones.
Wow,
Yeah.
he really is.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just scared of how the people are going to react, kind of like how we reacted to the last season. Probably didn't make him feel any better.
I mean, I think what it is that he's like a million years old, and at this point, who's he trying to impress? He's rich. It's not
That's
like he
true.
has to write the books.
I mean, think
What's
about
gonna
it,
happen
though.
if he doesn't?
That's his legacy, though. If he doesn't write the last book, people are going to be pretty upset.
But think about it, though.
Just
Wouldn't
saying.
that be the greatest fuck you to everybody, to die
Yeah.
without writing the last book? I would totally do that. I would 100%
I mean, authors have done
fucking
it.
do that.
I think Wheel of Time did that. The guy died, and then like two other authors wrote the book, like the last book, with the permission of his son or something like that.
Oh,
But
even
it's
better.
happened.
Even better, I would write the last book, right? But every page would be blank except for like one page randomly somewhere, like not even in the middle, but somewhere close to the middle. And it would just say, "No author can come anywhere near as close as the ending that I had planned." And then that's it. That's it. That's all I would say.
You would write something like that.
I'm an asshole. I am loud and proud about that. Easy.
It does kind of make sense though, because I don't know, maybe if I was writing books and the show went off without me, trying to compete with them at the same time, just wait till it's over.
Yeah, you can see where
And
they
then-
fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's
You know where to
okay.
go.
Well, I haven't watched since season 2 because I just got so out of order.
Far you go?
Yeah, I only
Oh,
got
I
to
didn't
season
know
2,
that.
but I know everything though because the internet is the internet, and I know everything thanks to it. But I saw somewhere someone was wondering if it's going to be like a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood situation
Oh, God.
where it's like, oh, they
What happened
messed up.
there?
Well, so they did
Same thing.
yeah, they did. They continued without the source material, and then a couple, I don't know how many years later, but years later, they redid the whole series with everything they now knew,
Yeah.
and the
'Cause the manga stops.
Brotherhood is so much better.
Please do that, Game of Thrones, please.
I mean, I think Daenerys is still probably going to be evil.
Yeah.
I don't think they made
that's
that
changing.
up. But
I just
hopefully
think
it'll
it's going to be
make
fleshed
sense.
out. Yeah, it'll be more fleshed out for
It
sure.
doesn't bother me. The lack of links and consistency bother me. And did you guys
Yeah.
watch that video? Oh, wait.
I don't think you posted it.
Mid-
in it. I don't
of
think you
Midgar?
posted it.
You guys
Yeah.
have to watch this funny video that
Yeah,
Chris sent
basically,
me.
yeah,
So
I got it.
good.
I got it from my buddy Tony, and it's like all the crazy stuff in the last season of Game of Thrones, and it's like devoid of logic or something like that, and it's just fucking hilarious. Oh my god, there's so many good ones. Like what was my favorite one? Oh, they showed Varys, and it's like Master of Whispers immediately tells Tyrion that he's betraying the Queen. And then it's like Master of Whispers immediately tells Jon Snow that he's betrayed the Queen. And then it's like Master of Whispers, and it shows him when he's sitting down writing that note, and it's like writing letters to half of Westeros, telling everybody that he's betraying the queen. And then whenever it goes to do his death scene, it just shows the actor reading the fucking thing, reading his death out, and as soon as Daenerys starts saying her whole like Mother of Dragons, breaker of chains, he just throws the fucking script in the middle of the table and just crosses his fucking arms, and it's like, yeah. There were so many really, really good ones. The one that I know a lot of my friends liked, and I think Tony, you were touching on this subject as well, where it's like Regal flying extremely high above and at an angle, literally doesn't get missed by a single fucking scorpion shot, and then it shows the whole scene where Drogon's flying around, missing every fucking shot that's coming his way. Then he flies around the fucking castle, and none of them turn.
He was injured, so he was only flying at 10% dragon capacity. He was, and the sun was in the dragon's eyes, and the boats had they had a clear shot lined up, which is why it makes total sense that the dragon got hit with arrows. If you paid any attention, you would know that.
I'm
my
sorry.
god!
Yeah, I'm not good enough at Game of Thrones.
He had been wounded by another dragon. He was emotionally scarred.
Cody, it's okay. It's okay.
It's not okay.
We'll get through this.
It was an inside job. It was all Ghost's fault. Ghost was jealous and he got that dragon killed.
The sad part is like watching that now, what a goddamn foreshadow. Like literally, moments before that scene happens, fucking Tormund's just like, what's the matter? Not gonna ride the dragon in? Nah, Regal's injured. He needs some rest. Literally next scene, Regal's just getting the shit shot out of him. It's like, what a fucking foreshadow. I can't believe I didn't see that coming.
I don't know if that's a foreshadow or if that's like the plot informing you that he's about to get murdered.
I'll give you that. A big fucking slap in the goddamn face for sure. It's like well, we gotta do something to kill a dragon.
Where Grey Worm and Missandei like look at each other and like hold hands and like almost hug a kiss.
Yeah, I called that too. I was like, oh, one of them is definitely about to fucking die.
You're killing yourself right now. This is like having sex in a horror movie. You don't do it. All right?
Don't do it.
Don't drink, don't do drugs, don't have sex. Then you'll live. But nope.
So the other funny part of that video was when they were talking about Grey Worm, because this is one of the biggest problems I had, was Grey Worm, just before he brought Tyrion to talk to them at the end there, he had said, we don't take no prisoners, and he killed all those men, right? Well, then, right afterwards, he goes and allows Tyrion, he's like, no, you can't talk, and then he allows Tyrion to talk that whole time.
Yeah, because Tyrion talks for like a fucking hour.
And gives Jon Snow back to them, and had no damn reason to do that. Like, problem I had with that whole episode was, like, he would have never gave Jon Snow back after killing his own queen. Like, come on.
Oh, the other part was whenever they had
to take the black.
True.
So it's okay.
The other part was whenever they had all the Dothraki ride in, and then fucking Jon's like, the white or the Night King's near, and Daenerys is like, yeah, but the dead is already here, and it's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. And it shows all the Dothraki go riding in, and then they had that whole meeting at the table where they're like, all the Dothraki were wiped out. And then it literally just shows all those Dothraki's shoulders.
Dothraki?
No, Dothraki. And then they all come riding through the fucking Red Keep at the fucking for the last episode to go in there and start slaughtering people in the streets. And like, but wait though, they just got through saying all of the Dothraki were wiped out. Oh, so many inconsistencies.
You gotta watch it. I could quote every single thing in there. It was just
pretty
so
good.
Great.
It was pretty good. There were a lot of really funny moments. I think the very first like 8 minutes of the first one is literally every time Jon says, "She's my queen. She's my queen. She's my queen." It's just like constant. It's fucking hilarious. It's like, oh Lord.
You're like A+ lines. A+ lines.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Oh man. But anyways, moving away from fucking Game of Thrones.
Oh.
I mean, one more sunshiny topic that's still related to HBO.
Sure, why not? Hit me.
Oh my gosh, you guys should watch the show Chernobyl.
Dude, it's so good.
Oh, did you watch it?
Yes.
Oh my
gosh, I watched every episode as it came out. It's so good. Oh my god.
In one day.
One
day?
day?
Ruin a day. Watch 5 hours
it's
of the
so
world.
Good.
It was very good.
Fuck you, Cody. It's
Wait,
good.
Is it the world ending or is it Russia ending?
Oh no. It was like, oh look, they figured it out and the world didn't end. Because if they hadn't, it would have like blown up for real, and we would all be super dead, which is terrifying.
Yep. Yup.
So that's awesome.
Yep.
Why would we all be dead?
So, well, I don't know how accurate this is to history. I think it's fairly correct, but some history person, if they comment, we just talked about this before we started recording. I don't read the comments, so it doesn't matter, but still comment because it means community engagement. Someone does, just not
Read
me.
the comments.
So the core was melting down, and they dumped sand and borax on it, or
Yep.
boron,
It was-
Boromir. I don't know.
It was something.
My
They
guess is
dumped
it would've been
Sean Bean on
boron.
it,
Yeah, I think it was boring.
and it put out the fire, but it didn't stop the heat of the core reacting and melting down.
Correct.
So it turned into lava, which would be fine because it's just lava on the ground. But the problem was they had been dumping water into the site for a long time, like to try to put out the fire, and it had all collected in these tanks. And when the lava hit those tanks, which was going to happen in like 48 hours after the thing melted down, it would have instantly vaporized the water and exploded, which would have then thrown radioactive debris everywhere, not
Mhm.
just
Everywhere.
like everywhere,
Everywhere.
everywhere. We wouldn't have all necessarily like immediately like radiation burn died, but we all would have like had cancer in 5 years and not been able to reproduce.
Who needs children?
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, oh boy, though, that show, one, is a nightmare, and two, do you know, I can never pronounce his name. It's like Stalin Skarsgård. He's the crazy guy from Thor Thor Dark World. He's like the old man crazy scientist.
I thought his name was Eric.
Well, in that, but the actor's name is
Oh,
like Starlin.
sure.
Starlin.
I know
Who
who
did he
you're
play?
talking about,
Who did he
yeah.
play in Chernobyl?
He was Boris.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me which guy he was. Like I don't.
He was
I don't
the
remember
guy.
name.
So you know the guy that was the scientist.
Yes, with the glasses.
Do you remember the part where they're in a helicopter and he's like, "If you fly over that thing, you'll be begging for the bullet."
Yeah.
And then there was an angry man who was old and had Russian hair.
Uh huh.
That was Boris.
Okay, gotcha.
He was like the main bureaucrat.
I really like that guy though. The fucking the
Yeah.
scientist.
He was scary, and he's not a scary. Oh no, not him.
I'm
The
talking about
scientist
scientist.
Scientist was cool.
Once again, you gotta remember, it's for the same reason I like John Hamm, dude. Fucking Mad Men. Like, oh my gosh. And the best
Was he in
part.
Mad Men?
Yeah. Did you not watch it?
I watched like 2 seasons, then I just got bored. I just got bored of Mad Men.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll leave it there. But yes, he's in Mad Men.
I'm not gonna go back and start watching Mad Men.
Oh,
again.
I might
well,
might
then I
though,
still
but
watch it.
I don't
Never mind.
I don't mind spoilers. I am the rare breed of person that's
Well,
like it's
he
fine.
kills himself in the same way he does in Chernobyl. He hangs himself. So I
Oh.
thought that was pretty
No,
funny. I saw like
jeez.
2 shows back to back, and he fucking hangs himself
It's
in both
cool.
shows.
I didn't finish Chernobyl yet, though.
It was the first episode. It's like the first 10 minutes.
It's also a historical event.
Oh,
No,
right.
hold on. Before we go into that, I recommended that
Spoilers,
Bree watch
history.
this. I recommended that Bree watch this. Then she comes to
No,
me.
hey, I've
No.
had a really good day so far. We should probably talk about how nice the weather was.
No,
The
we're not
weather
going to
was
do this.
really
So I tell
great
Bree,
today, guys.
and she comes back and she goes, wow. She's like, I mean, I don't know how this show is like that crazy. Like, you made it sound like it was really, really crazy. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, you're just so fascinated about it. I was like, yeah, because it's a fascinating thing that happened. She's like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, it's a historical event. And she's like,
Never
no,
heard
it's
of it.
not. She's like, there's never been like a nuclear reactor that's ever like had anything fuck up with it. And I'm like,
There's been 3.
what? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I learned in school. I was like, I don't know what the fuck they're teaching you. Chernobyl
I
is
swear
real.
to God, when we talked about nuclear reactors and nuclear powers, like they said nothing has ever exploded.
Oh well, there has been in Russia, Japan, and the United States.
Because I like the reason I remember feeling that way is because I felt really strongly about how scary it would be if that happened. And I was like, wow, none of that's happened, but it's a possibility. So I'm kind of like really confused why I don't know about it, but I mean, it could have just been. He said that maybe I was thinking of meltdowns versus blow-ups.
Well, yeah, I guess technically I don't know, define an explosion. They don't atomically explode because that's not what they can do, but they can melt down and they can explode in that, like, there is a sudden release of pressure from water vaporizing, which is what happened at Chernobyl.
We've had 3 happen, and the world can end because of it. Why do we do it?
Because it provides a similar amount of power to a coal-fired power plant,
Yeah.
unlike wind turbines or solar cells.
Yeah.
and it's cheaper,
Yeah,
and you
that's
can
the
just
big
put them in
risk.
one place.
So, the world ending, or
I just love how much of a fucking dick it was just to sit there and watch the main fucking scientist dude just. There's no fucking graphite out there, and everything else, like just constantly. I was like, dude, just stop being an asshole, okay? It was like the moment he walked outside and saw that the windows were just all shattered and he was looking on the ground. You know damn well he was like, we're fucked. But he was just constantly like, I'm saving my own ass. Like that is my main goal right now. Is I am saving my own ass. It's like, dude, just stop. Like you have maybe a chance to help out here. Fucking stop. But I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
No, that guy that played that main engine or the nighttime like head operator was a nightmare human being. Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Just
For
so
sure.
mean. So mean.
Such a dick. For sure. I just like how he's sending everybody down there, but he won't go down there. It's like, you go check out the core. There's no core there, sir. I don't believe him. You go check out the core. There's no core there, sir. I don't believe him either.
Guy runs in with a melted face, like, the core is gone. And he's like, he's in shock. Get him out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's in shock. Get him out of here. All right. Now that he's gone, you go check out the core. Like, it was like he did everything to make sure he didn't go down there. I was like, what a dick.
That one guy
man.
who they set after that meeting where they're all like sitting around in that boardroom and the crazy old Soviets like, okay, we're going to cut all the phone lines and trap everyone.
Yeah.
And whatever. I like that one guy who's like, you have to go up there and look in the core. And he's like, I'm not going up there. They're like, yeah, you are. It'll be fine. He's like, no, please. No, my face is going to liquefy instantly. Like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You go up there and take a peeksy peek.
It's funny that he didn't just like take getting shot, because I feel like if I knew I was gonna get like radiated and die slowly, I would rather just get shot.
I would have been like running away. I'd just run. Like I wouldn't have helped though. I wouldn't have.
How
like,
do we
spread
know
awareness.
what you do in stressful situations?
I would just like drop like as soon as like he was like, I had my dosimeter guy go out. He measured 200, which is the high limit. I would have like. But the dosimeter guy would have come back and been like, sir, we measured 200 Rockin. You have to tell everybody. And I'd be like, bye. Bye. It's your job now. You've just been promoted to me. Bye. And I would just walk out into the forest.
The main thing with Chernobyl for me, though, is like the numbers. The numbers are what's so fascinating to me. Like to know that the first responders got hit with 56,000 years worth of radiation.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane to think about. Like, they literally decayed in, like, fucking days. Like, fuck. That is nuts to think about. And then I think, like, the last time I looked at it, because me and Kelsey were talking about this, because she was like, I think it's inhabitable now. And I was like, I'm 100% sure it's not. And we were looking at it, and it's like, it's not supposed to be inhabitable by humans for, like, another 22,000 years.
And that's something creepy that the show, and I know, I'm sorry this isn't funny, but it's what I'm interested in right now, so, I brought it up. But, like, I thought the show did a good job of illustrating how mysterious it can feel to be in an area like that. Because Kelsey's right, you could walk through the area surrounding Chernobyl and feel fine. It's just if you stay there for 2 days, in the next 10 years, you're now 50 more times likely to develop cancer, Right. And that was and that's still the reality of that situation, is that it's just like destroying the area around it, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's just that area now people can't live in permanently because it'll mess you up.
Right. And one of the main places over there that really, like, I would love to go fucking see is the fucking Red Forest, dude. I want to go see that so fucking bad. It's like
in a hazmat suit, though, right?
Yeah, obviously, but it's basically like the pine forest that kind of surrounds some of the reactor. Literally got hit so bad that it instantly killed the trees and turned them and all their pine needles to red, and now they're just there like fucking stones, and they're just blood red, and they call it the Red Forest. Looks fucking amazing. I want to go so bad, but I'd die.
That is one of those things. So Chernobyl's another like on my list. I need to watch a TV show, but I've been fascinated by just the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to watch the TV show. But that's good. One of my favorite thing, I shouldn't say favorite because that's not really appropriate, but like I really like seeing pictures before and after. Mm-hmm. And like Chernobyl's one of those where you like feel the hair stick up, where you're like,
Oh yeah, it's got a
oh my God.
haunting feel to it for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
well, because everyone just dropped everything. And for a while, it looked like, oh, somebody could just walk in and pick their life back up. But then, you see it now, however many years later it's been, and, everything's overgrown. And it's like, ooh,
Well, what's even
that's
crazier,
creepy.
that's kind of creepy,
Yeah.
is that whenever they brought the first responders in, they completely undressed them and got them all into beds. And then to try to keep the radiation down to a minimum, all the nurses had to dress up in plastic and then pick up all the first responders' clothes and throw them down into a concrete room in the hospital. Those clothes are still down there. All those firemen uniforms are still down there and are like supposed to be like heavily fucking radiated.
Oh,
So
wow.
you want to talk about creepy? That's some creepy shit. So those clothes
It
are
is.
still down there.
Just seems like stuff
Fucking
we shouldn't
nuts.
fuck with. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
like if it's gonna take like 50,000 years for just like one city to get back to normal, just don't think we should fuck with it. But
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's like why people complain about nuclear energy. Is that on one hand, it's like way cleaner than coal,
Mm-hmm.
and the lasting effects of like coal and gas power plants are like slowly wrecking the planet. And nuclear power plants would kind of be a silver bullet for that because they could be like replaced and it would stop like the lion's share of pollution. But then it's like, man, you only have to mess up
Once.
fully one time.
And
And
we're
it's
all
kind of like
fucked.
game over for everyone forever.
I imagine that's part of the reason the documentary was probably made. Like, looking at it from like a director point of view, I'm sure there's an anniversary coming up or something, but it feels like something someone would make to, have like the warning label
Right.
out there.
Right. No,
Well, and it does
okay. I'm naming this Doom and Gloom Part 2, okay?
I was
Let's
about
calm
to say
down a
that.
little
I was
bit.
about to say that.
Right.
Our last podcast, fucking Kelsey was just like I started it just by talking about the super volcano that's underneath Yellowstone, and then Kelsey just like fucking went in on it. Like she was,
Wait,
it was bad.
You
Like,
talked
she was-
about volcanoes in front of Kelsey and thought that the conversation
Well,
was going to get happier.
I
I
didn't
think
necessarily-
Kelsey's dream is to see
No.
everything she loves die in a volcano.
probably. It's probably.
That's her fantasy.
Yeah, after that conversation, I wouldn't be surprised.
But it was just like it just downgraded, or it just escalated downhill from there. Like it was like we talked about that, then it was like which way you would prefer to
like
die.
The idea of escalating downhill.
Yeah, I know I fucked that up, but I just went with it.
Escalating down.
So it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So it was like, which way would you prefer to die? And I was like, wow, this is getting dark as
Whoa.
fuck. So
Okay,
I mean,
so
volcano for sure.
moral here is watch Chernobyl, but be aware it's going to be a little.
Yeah.
Okay, new topic. What's the new one?
I watched a video about the realities of Chernobyl.
oh man.
No.
We could go back to all your motorcycle stuff.
You know, I know you're like softballing me a topic,
I
but
am.
you gotta understand, this won't be fun for anyone but me to sit and talk about the motorcycle that only I find interesting. So anyways, I got a motorcycle when I was 17 years old. It is 43 years old now. And it still runs like a champ. I love it.
Wow.
Jesus.
It's tiny. It breaks all the time.
Hold on.
Which is
Did you
why
just give away your
hate it.
age?
Huh?
When you're 17, it's 43 years old?
It is 43 years old, but it wasn't 43 when I bought it.
Now there's a number missing there that I
Yeah,
don't think
there's a
they can
crucial
figure
I
out
also
the age.
don't care. I'm 27. I'm
Okay,
not like
fine.
sensitive about it. But yeah, no, it's a 76 KZ 400. It is a motorcycle no one cares about, but I love it, and it's super fun to ride a motorcycle.
Hey, fair enough. Fair enough.
Do you sing like a badass song while you're driving?
Well, if it didn't look like a motorcycle that was meant for a hobbit, yes, but it looks like a motorcycle that's meant for a hobbit, so.
It's also not like a cool. It's definitely.
Whoa!
It doesn't have.
Excuse you.
It's not like super aerodynamic. It's not like like a Harley or anything. Like
Harleys are not
you're not-
aerodynamic.
you're
They're
not
cruisers.
supposed. It's okay. It's not a crotch rocket. You're
Ding,
not
ding,
supposed
ding.
to. Right.
Sorry.
You're not
Battle
supposed to
Gun.
like lean down low and like go really fast. It's
If
got
you were
like
gonna
a.
talk about a company that doesn't make crotch rockets specifically, you would bring up Harley Davidson.
Okay, I clearly don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but your motorcycle has like the little silver thing in the back that does not.
Sissy bar,
The
please.
sissy bar. Okay.
Know
there
your
you go.
motorcycle terms. Gosh.
Well, it has a sissy bar, and that feels like a very appropriate name for it.
Yeah, and it's gigantic. I love it. It's like 3 feet tall. I like looking like I have a shark fin glued to the back of my motorcycle.
Jesus.
We're learning some interesting things.
Right.
Oh.
The funniest part, though, is when he came towards our son with the helmet on.
Yeah, that was pretty great. He got real concerned.
Oh, your son did? Like he started freaking out?
He didn't exactly freak out. He just kind of stared at me wide-eyed and was like,
He did not know what to do. And then Cody walks toward him,
I
and
am
he was
your
like,
father.
"Mom."
yep. It was pretty great.
That's fantastic.
I have a funny story about my motorcycle, though.
Yeah.
Check this out. So, I lived in the middle of nowhere, and there were a bunch of farm kids around me, which is great because they knew how to fix things. So, I was riding my very old motorcycle down the road, and it died, which happens to me frequently. So, this kid that I went to school with, he pulls up behind me in his like big old pickup truck, and he hops out, and I'm like, "Hey." He's like, "Hi, did you die?" Like, "Yeah, I did." So he comes up and he starts like poking at it, and he's like, "Well, you're getting gas to your carbs. That all looks fine. You know, everything looks okay. I don't know." And I'm like, "Well, I'll call my dad and have him tow me." So my dad drives his truck out to get me like down this country road in the middle of nowhere, and he wraps a strap around the front of the motorcycle. And then while he's dragging me back, like he just drug me back. We didn't put it in the bed of the truck.
Mm.
So I'm sure that's safe. I was trying to like pop the clutch to get it to start, and I couldn't get it to go, you know, but every time I did that, I'd start like dragging a wheel, you know, and stuff. So anyways, we get it home, and I'm like tinkering with the thing, and I'm like, man, I can't figure this out. Finally, I pop open the seat, and the registration for the motorcycle had been sucked into the air cleaner, which is why it wouldn't run, because there was no air getting to the engine. That same
Not
thing
good.
happened to me 3 days ago. I'm smart.
You definitely learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, you do learn from your mistakes. That's how I'll choose to look at it.
And no, I was being sarcastic.
Oh. One time, 4 times in a row, my motorcycle dumped an entire tank of gas out in my school parking lot.
An entire tank of gas?
Yeah, which is only 2 gallons, but its principal's still not thrilled when you dump 2 gallons of gas out in their parking lot.
Especially with kids around with lighters that like to have a little too much fun.
Right? Yep, just a big old puddle of gasoline around my motorcycle.
Gasoline.
Gasoline!
Gasoline.
That I now cannot get home. So that's fun.
Woot.
The
So
front fender
my
flew off at my head one time. That was awesome.
super cool, fantabulous uncle he's a cop, has a really awesome motorcycle. And he
Oh,
let me
sure.
ride it. So he was explaining, hey, when you get on this, you're wearing shorts. Don't touch the muffler with your leg, right? My awesome, sweet little sister was standing right next to me, listening all wide-eyed, like, yeah, okay. So I get to ride it, come back, and he's like, don't put your leg on the muffler. First thing she does, lifts up her leg to go onto the motorcycle, and it instantly presses it against the muffler, and
Oh,
like she had a huge red mark on her leg.
yeah.
It was, yeah. I was like, Alyssa, you were just told not to do that. I swear to God, she was born blonde in her heart, not on her head, but in her heart.
Oh,
Well, I know you're very
man.
intelligent. Don't take that personally.
Oh, I don't care. I use it as an excuse whenever I do something stupid. So,
I don't think I've ever burnt myself.
oh,
No,
good for
That's
Never-
not true.
Never burnt yourself?
No, not
Never?
on my motorcycle. But that's kind of
Oh,
untrue
okay.
because one time I lit my hand on fire playing with starter fluid for my motorcycle.
Wait,
be
there's-
fair-
you put starter fluid in your motorcycle?
Yeah. So starter fluid, like if your engine won't turn over, it like widens the range in which gas will combust. So yeah, you spray a little bit of that in the air cleaner, you kick it, and it might start over. It might turn over.
Or it lights on fire.
Yeah, I mean it lights on fire real easy. So if you have a big can of
In
starter
a way
fluid,
you don't want it to.
well, no, I mean in a way that makes it seem like you have a flamethrower. So you get yourself a can of starter fluid and a lighter, and then you have a little flamethrower,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
That works really good for the first couple sprays, but if you miss a flick on your lighter, you just end up spraying your hand with starter fluid. So then the next time you hit your lighter, your hand catches on fire, which is what happened to me.
Fair enough.
I thought it would impress my girlfriend. Apparently, it didn't.
Wait, did you do that in front of me?
You've made fun of me about this like 15 times.
No, I made fun of you for when you
Lit my hand on fire.
No, you sprayed lighter fluid on the ground and then lit it just to watch it burn and
That
then
was
stomped
gasoline.
on it.
Not starter fluid.
Okay,
Wow.
whatever. That's what I remember.
Pyromaniac couple. Very sweet.
Well, okay, only one of us.
That's probably the scariest that's ever like really happened to me as far as with gasoline is concerned was I guess I had two instances. One wasn't that scary, but back whenever I used to live down in Texas and we had this big ass land, me and my brother, we both had 4-wheelers that we'd ride around all the time. And we had our gas cans, and one day I was just having trouble getting a fire started, so I fucking threw some fucking gas in there, and I didn't notice that literally had a line like running all the way back to my 4-wheeler. I've never rushed and jumped on my 4-wheeler so fucking fast to get it away from that fire, I tell you. One.
Oh no.
And then two, this one was the actual scary one. So my friend at the time had this weird obsession with lighting himself on fire. He was really big into it, and I don't know why.
I can respect that.
I guess.
Of course you can.
But-
We've already talked about what you are.
Maybe he watched too much Jackass. I don't know. But he would always have this trick to do when we would like fucking have like little fucking house parties and all the guys and shit would come over. We'd play video games where he would take like a tube sock and then put it in the lawnmower's gas cap and get gas and like rub it on his fucking arms and like light his arms on fire and fucking like do tricks and shit and then put himself out. One time he didn't notice, but a big blop of fucking gas had dropped on the ground. So whenever he lit himself on fire, everything was great, but he didn't move away. He was just there, just doing it there. And so like a drop of gas dropped from his arm on fire and just hit the fucking glop and immediately
Oh my
started running
gosh.
up the side of the lawnmower. That was some scary shit. Because it was like parked in the
Holy
garage
cow.
of the house, and it's like if that shit would have blown up, like, fuck.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I was smart enough to be away from it. I still don't know if I was away enough, but Steph was smart enough to be away from it every time he did it. But I was like, man, dude, like he would have blew. And it wasn't even his house. Like it was one of our friends' house. So it's like he would have blew one of our friends' houses like halfway the fuck up.
Plus, that's like some Final Fantasy shit where the lawnmower blade comes out of the lawnmower and goes and chops off your
Do
head.
you mean Final Destination?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy is a very distinct game
Yeah.
that is important to only one
I
person
meant
here.
Final Destiny.
Like
Final Fantasy.
I was so
That's what
You
I
don't
meant.
mean Final
fucking
Destiny either.
Look,
You mean Final
look.
Destination.
This is how much I've been hearing about Final Fantasy, okay? And
I-
like in every video and every word that comes out of Chris's mouth, I just can't get it out of my head.
I was so fucking confused. I instantly was like, what Final Fantasy game has a fucking lawnmower in it?
Final
I was like,
Destiny, Final Destination,
I
whatever.
wish you
Final
had corrected
Destination.
her. Like, there has never been a Final Fantasy game with a lawnmower in it. I would know.
I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, does she play a game that I don't fucking know about? Like, when did this happen? If so, that sounds like one boring ass Final Fantasy game. They're riding fucking lawnmowers.
So,
fuck.
There's only, I think, been 2 times when I nearly burnt down my parents' barn. And one of them I don't think was my fault. So the worst, let's start with the
Dude,
least
we're-
egregious time.
Oh my god, we're learning so much about Cody right now.
I lived in the middle of nowhere. You get up to stuff. Like, it's just... There's
I don't
no
know,
consequence to doing bad things and no one's watching, so...
I'm looking up warrants right now. Warrants for Cody.
So the first time, and this was not my fault, but I was just in the barn when it happened and I panicked because I was like 11. My dad was melting wax. Not 100% sure why he was melting wax. He does not make candles. But he had a saucepan sitting on a stove that we had in our barn for some reason. I think mainly to melt lead. Just sitting on an electric burner, and it liquefied, and then we forgot about it. So what happened was it got hot enough to reach, I guess, its flash point. And so I'm just sitting in the barn, and then I look over, and the stove just burst into flames. And I'm just like, ah, 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 ah! And I just run outside screaming because I'm 11, you know. And my
just at 11 is when you would run away screaming. Just want to clarify, Cody, because that's not your other stories that have been told.
So my dad sees me just like screaming and flapping his hands, and he like turns around and comes back, and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Stove's on fire!" You know. And he just like walks in there. He like puts on a welding glove and picks up the saucepan full of fire and just like dumps it in the driveway. He's like.
Wait, your dad calmly walks in and puts out the fire, just to be
Well, he
clear?
didn't put it out. He just went and dumped it in the driveway because it's just the wax was on fire. So he just picked up the thing of wax and was like, dump, done, it's fine, and just left. The second time, my parents don't know about. So if they ever listen to this, they'll now have dirt on me for a story I don't believe I've told them.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
So,
Ooh. I'm
pretty
excited.
consistently, I would go down to my parents' barn and play with fire. Just a thing that I did. You know, like there was an anvil, which is a big piece of metal that isn't flammable. And I would coat it in gas or starter fluid or oil and light it on fire. Ooh, pretty fire. Usually that's fine. What's not fine is when you find gunpowder and a pop can. And you cut the top off the pop can and fill it, I don't know, halfway up with gunpowder. Which, for those that don't know, a bullet has like maybe like if you can imagine your pinky finger, just the last digit of it. That's how much gunpowder's in a bullet.
Were you trying to kill yourself? What?
So what I did was
How old are you?
Pop can, well, I don't know, 14. Fill a pop can halfway up with gunpowder. And then I was like, I had like a Zippo lighter, right? And I'm like about to just touch that in there. And I'm like, wait. This is stupid. So instead
You had that thought cross your mind.
So instead what I do is I get a butane torch, light that, and then that's what I use to light off the gunpowder. So that way, instead of being 1 inch away, I'm like 4 inches away. So I light it off, and it's just like bang.
Did it in shrapnel or nothing?
No, because there was no top, so it wasn't under any pressure.
Okay.
It was fine. You know, it just expanded. But what it did do is absolutely fill my barn completely up with smoke. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, everybody's fine, but I definitely don't want my parents to know about this. So I just very calmly forgot to close all of the doors to the barn and left everything open and went up to the house. So then the next day, my dad was like, "Why leave all the doors open to the barn?" I'm like, "'Cause I'm stupid." Definitely not to let out the whole barn's worth of smoke that I had left from igniting a lot of gunpowder.
One day on Dead Funny, we're gonna have like a parents-teacher conference type thing. We'll all bring our parents in to watch special episodes where we talk about naughty stuff we did as kids.
We had that conversation with our parents when me and my brother were both adults, and I think we ruined my mom. I think we actually like crushed her soul when we told her how much we cheated in high school.
like cheated on tests?
Like me and my brother
cheated on their mom.
We were both like, we went to a small school and we were both like smart kids, which just meant that we seemed like we were paying attention in class, which then gives you free reign to do whatever you want because teachers assume you're not cheating. So then we just cheated on everything for our whole career as students in high school.
There you go.
Our mom was not thrilled to learn that.
Romaniac cheater. Got it.
Boom. Boom, boom.
Getting that?
That crushed me because I was like a teacher's pet. Now, at this point, I don't care, but like when I was in like middle school, high school, I was the person that was like, well, I study all the time and I work really hard to keep my grades up. And I'm like, wow, I was a nerd.
I got good grades. I went to college.
Okay,
you know.
yeah, but you cheated to get there.
Do you want to know what my best cheating thing ever was? This was like a solid moment of solidarity between me and another kid that were sitting in the hall. So we were both sick the day of a test. So we had to make it up in the hall. And never mind. I'm not going to say, never mind. I'm not going to specify anything about him just in case someone hears about this and it comes back on his life. I don't need to throw him under the bus. Another intelligent person who was well liked at my school and me were sitting out in the hall taking a test with no supervision because the assumption was we're good kids. Why would we cheat? And so, we're just like sitting there for like an hour, just sitting across from each other, filling out a Scantron. And at one point, I don't remember who said it first, but I'm just like, hey man, what did you get for question 17? And he's like, I was thinking B on that one. And I'm like, erase, erase, erase. Yeah, B sounds good. And from then on, we just did the test together. We just took the test together.
Collaboration, working together, teamwork.
And the way this class worked, young teacher, so he was like, this is going to be like a college class. You guys are seniors. So you have 2 tests all year, and that's your grade. You have a midterm and you have a final. That's 100% of your grade.
That's really stressful.
It was really bad. And me and this other kid got an A+ on the test, obviously.
And why is that, Cody?
The next highest grade on that test, I think, was like a 65.
Jesus.
So everyone else did not do well on that test. And so then when it came, and then curve, though, is set off the highest score. So we set the curve at 100%.
Oh, people loved you.
Yeah,
people
right. So
loved
then
you for
it
sure.
rolls around to final times. And at my school, if you were a senior and you had an A in the class, you didn't have to take your final. You just got that grade. Great. Me and me and not that name that I didn't just say accidentally. Me and Casper were like, okay, we don't have to take the test. Great. So we just sat in the back of the class playing chess. Everyone else took the test. The next day we get our scores because they're Scantrons. And the teacher's like, well, everyone, I think you should first of all thank Cody and this other gentleman for not taking this test and setting the curve really high again. The highest score on the test was a 77. It goes to my student aide, who is not in this class and is a freshman.
Damn.
That was the highest score. That's what set the curve. His student aide, who was a freshman.
So, did you cheat on that test though, or was that?
I didn't take the final because I didn't have to because I had
the test that you aced.
Yeah, the midterm. Yeah, me and the smartest kid in the class took it together.
Oh, that's the one you took outside the classroom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, we cheated on that.
It was a different test after that discussion.
Yeah. That's a wandery story.
Wow, you cheated on the test that set the curve for the whole class. You nasty. You nasty.
I'm a bad human being.
You're a bad student.
I was that.
Very bad student.
I was good in college.
I was a terrible student. You guys weren't there for that stuff as far as the earlier podcast, but I spent an entire year in in-school suspension.
Oh,
that was pretty great. But the best part about it was
in-school suspension. That seems counterintuitive.
You didn't have ISS?
No,
it's a Southern thing.
That's a Southern thing, I think.
Yep, they didn't have ISS.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. I didn't even realize
detention.
that. I didn't realize that wasn't. That was like a thing from down south.
The only person I knew that got suspended from my school tried to stab somebody.
So in-school suspension wasn't for stuff that was like that drastic, but it was more along the lines of another way to punish you. So basically, this is what in-school suspension was supposed to be, and then this is what in-school suspension was for me. In-school suspension was supposed to be a punishment of where you don't get to go to your school, but you have to go because a lot of Texas schools, for sure, it was like the elementary, intermediate, and the high school are literally like in the same fucking parking lot. Like, especially where
Yeah.
I went to school, it was like all in the same. I've been to a lot of schools, like, or not been to, but I've been to some schools up here with like friends and shit where they're like, oh yeah, well fucking elementary's all the way over there, fucking 2 blocks over is the fucking high school. Like, I mean, the same fucking parking lot. All 3 buildings are just surrounding each other. So you didn't get to go to your school. So at the time I was in intermediate, so you had to go to the high school for your ISS. And there was a room where you obviously didn't have any friends unless they were in ISS. And you had to sit in a cubicle and you had to stare forward the entire time. And for lunch, you got peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Now, there was one crucial way to get out of ISS. And it was, one, you had to be caught up on your homework. And your teachers had to have you graded at like a B average.
And 2 was bribe the teacher.
No. And 2, there was this piece of paper in front of you that had 5 rules on it. You had to be able to recite those rules from memory. And then they would let you out of ISS. And it was shit like, don't talk to the people around you. It was dumb shit like that. You know, like 1-sentence rules. So it's easy as fuck to remember, right? So that's what ISS was supposed to be. ISS for me was, I went to the high school, but I was in intermediate school. High school started their day at 6:15. But they got done at like 1:30. Intermediate school started their day at 8, and they got done at 3. But because I was at the high school, and I was technically an intermediate student, I didn't have to go to the high school until 8. But whenever they closed down, I got to go on the bus home at 1:30. So I was going to school from 8 to 1:30 at first. Second, I did go to ISS with one of my best friends, and his mom was the lunch lady, so we got the good lunches versus the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I was in ISS for an entire year solely due to the fact that I didn't want to leave. Like, they would be like, all right, recite the rules, and I'd be like, I can't remember them. I can't remember them.
With his great memory,
I cannot remember
he
them.
could not remember them.
Yep, it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. So I was a bad student. Like, I didn't do like drugs or fucking all that other kind of shit, but I was like just a dick.
You drank.
Yes, but when I say drugs, I mean, you know, we're talking like illegal shit is more of what I was talking about. I mean, I guess technically drinking.
I mean,
underage
it's
is
illegal for
but
you to
regardless.
drink at that age.
Still, I wasn't like that crazy, but I made such an ass. Like, I made myself such a jackass to my principals. We had this one lady who literally would like, her whole career, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to say her name, but her whole career at that point was just to make my life fucking miserable. Like, miserable. Like, I know a lot of schools down south and some up here, like, you had to wear uniforms. We got to wear whatever we wanted to do to school as long as it didn't have, like, you know, like guns or some shit on it, you know, something graphic. And the one main thing, though, is that we always had to have our shirt tucked in. That was the biggest rule at my school, was your shirt had to be tucked in.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I had
Oh
just...
man, I hope you wore like really tacky t-shirts tucked into like your 90s
And
jeans. Ugh.
Suspenders.
Oh,
Suspenders.
Yeah, I was never caught dead wearing a suspender. So I grew up in Houston, Texas. So I definitely had like a ghetto clothes kind of phase whenever I was in high school, for sure. That definitely happened. So, you know, the baggy jeans, the baggy shirts, that type of deal. South Pole, I think, was what I fucking wore back then. That discontinued fucking clothing line. Yeah, for sure. So,
Oh, Cody, you... Never mind.
anyways, so walking out of I just been, this was another way of humiliating you, by the way. If you had just detention, there was detention during lunch as well. And what that was is that you had to sit up on stage, because the stage was in the cafeteria, at a desk and do homework and eat lunch at the same time, while everybody else got to just eat lunch, relax, and stare at you while you were doing it.
Oh, weird. See, I remember in school lunch detention, and it was similar, but it was just like move you away from your friends and you can't talk while you're eating.
Well,
Did you get detention?
we were
I
put out.
didn't. I just was aware of what was happening at my school.
You were a
But
degenerate, weren't you?
I just got off of lunch detention. I was on it for like a solid 2 weeks. I just got off of lunch detention. And like, I'm walking to my table, and I definitely didn't hang out with the right crowd. And I was like, yeah, if I could sit with all my boys. And everybody's like, oh shit, Chris out of detention. Oh yeah. And I was just sitting there walking, had my lunch tray. I was like, what's up? And then out of nowhere, I hear, over the microphone, "Mr. Giles," and I was like, "What?" And I look up, and she's all like, "Your shirt tail's untucked." And I look down, and I'm like, "My shirt is tucked in? What are you talking about?" It was like a small portion of my shirt wasn't tucked in.
Oh my
I mean, very small portion. You know, like whenever you see like girls like keep their shirt up and they do like the hair tie on the back of the shirt and it has like the little fucking tail sticking out. That's what it looked like. Like that much of my shirt was out. And I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me." Oh, she was after me. But I got my payback on that one. My last day at that school, because I moved from Texas to Alabama a lot. My last day at that school, I was moving, and it just so happened to be the school dance. So I didn't finish out that year at that school, but I was moving. It just so happened to be the school dance, and she was trying to do something at one of the tables. She was messing with the drinks or whatever. And on my way out, I heard, "Mr. Giles, your parents are here to pick you up." I just kicked the fucking leg out from underneath the table. It was one of those collapsing tables and knocked the punch like all over the floor, all over her. I felt good about it. And I went, grabbed my stuff out of my locker, got in the U-Haul, and that was the last time I saw that fucking school. I was like, "I'm out of here."
Oh, I found a better one.
Fucking deuces.
I mean, I guess if you're not ever gonna go back, you may as well make a statement.
Oh, I did, for sure. Jesus, could you find a more fucking like ghetto picture of me? Good fucking Lord.
No, I'm enjoying these. These are great.
I mean, the first one's not bad. I was dressed to impress. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, so
The second one's pretty great, though.
I had it, dude. I was all about that shit. Anyways, so but yeah, I was a pretty bad kid in school. I was a really bad kid in school. Like, there's no way. Oh,
I don't know. I like didn't get in like trouble a lot, but I think I was just like annoying. Like, I think I was an annoying student to have, because I just like knew I was like just good enough at not getting in trouble, and also I was like the only person that was paying attention in class, so teachers liked me. But then also I did stupid crap, but it's like there's a balancing act here between, well, the band only has one baritone player, but that one baritone player made up a sport where he tries to impale people with broken stands. So what do you do about that? Yeah. Going to a tiny school was awesome. It's really bad because they don't teach you anything, and they use backhanded methods to make their test scores seem great. But then,
Like
there's, like,
cheating?
well, no, I mean, like, if you don't do well on a test, you're just in special ed. That was their method for boosting testing scores.
Good Lord.
Because those scores don't count. So, but there's like also like no real opportunities to do anything. So there's like stuff, right? There's extracurriculars, but they're all like poorly funded and poorly staffed.
Right.
So like it was weird because like I went to a school that was so tiny that like cliques just couldn't exist by necessity. Like you couldn't have just athletes because there were only 4 of them. So that's every sports team now is like, man, if you could swing a bat, you were in track, you were in cross country, you were on the baseball team, you were on the basketball team, you were in everything.
Good
And the
Lord.
same thing for me, it was like music, you know, like if you were a person that was like, hey, I have a mild interest in singing, like, great, you're in every musical and band and choir.
That's different from me. You had to try out for everything you fucking wanted, for sure.
Yep.
But I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I
whenever-
had to try out, but there was like less guy parts in musicals than there were guys, so.
Fair enough. But yeah, like fucking band for sure. I remember trying out for that, and I was like, I gotta be in percussion. Like, I have to be. Like, I gotta be on the drums. That's where I want to be. And it was funny because it was like every other kid. Like, we were all in a line together as we were getting ready to go in for like drum tryouts. And every single one of us were out there talking. It's like the only way we're gonna get in here is if we lie. So it's like every kid went in there was like, yeah, I'm in a band. I play drums. And like fucking only there was like I want to say it was like 30 something of us, and only 7 of us got in.
There were 30 people in my high school band.
Yeah. And only 7 of us got in. And then it was like day 1, and the director, he's like, yeah, you know, I'm going to be so excited about this because, you know, I don't really have to do over all the basics with any of you guys or anything like this. He's like, all right, so go ahead and, you know, fucking put this sheet of music out. I was like, go ahead and play this off, and all of us are just like, yeah. The sad part was there were like actually kids in that line that actually knew how to play the drums, and they just didn't get picked because they chose not to lie. I walked in there and I was like, I've been playing fucking drums for years, like years. And what I meant by that was I was one of those kids that was trying to come up with beats on his fucking table with his fucking pencil in class. Yeah, that's what I meant by playing drums. That's what I had been doing. So, yeah, there's another good one. Yeah, we just had tons of shit going on. I had this one friend that was like addicted to and I don't know who kept buying them for him, but he was addicted to those fucking stink bombs, dude. And he would fucking pop those things off left and right. Y'all never had that?
No, we just had kids who sprayed Axe in the hallway.
No, like they were
A
these
lot better
little,
than stink bombs.
they were these little glass, like they looked like pills. And they were little in glass, but if you fucking threw one and it broke on the ground, like that shit was bad, and it was like that for hours.
See, that's how
Oh
I felt
my
about the Axe body
God.
spray.
Like this shit was designed to try to make people throw up. I'm interested. I'm interested because I think I talked to a couple of my other friends from down south. I don't think I've talked to you about this, Mandy. Do you remember? It was like a snack that we would eat down south for sure, and it's not good for you, and I don't even know how it became a snack. But Lucas Salt. Is that ever in your school? It was like these little itty bitty white containers that looked like salt shakers, and they would have like a green label, and it would be like jalapeno salt, or a red label, and it was like pepper salt.
Did they just feed you salt?
No, it was actually banned at our school. Like they did not want you having it at school because it was so unhealthy for you. But kids would go, you'd be able to pick up like a fucking 10-pack of them for like 50 cents at a fucking convenience store, and everybody was fucking doing this shit.
I
Everybody.
vaguely remember them, but I don't think they
Were
really
you
made
just
their way.
eating table salt?
Yes, that's basically all it
Freaking
is.
Texas is so weird. Man, I don't get this.
I mean,
Oh
yes,
my
it's
gosh.
a little weird, but no, I definitely remember that. I don't think it really made its rounds around my school as much,
Oh, it did
but
so
I remember
bad at my
seeing
school.
them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, I didn't grow up in the best of neighborhoods, but fucking A, that shit was everywhere.
Man, it has to be pretty bad when the snack of choice is table salt.
So gross. I agree with
I
you.
mean, it's literally
Ugh.
think about going to school and like asking a kid for a stick of gum. That's basically what Lucas Salt was like. It was all like it's like, yo, man, you got any salt on you? It's like, yeah. You pull it out, pour some in your hand, and you just walk around licking salt out of your hand all day.
Okay, that answered my question because that was my next question. How do you eat salt? And your answer is like an animal, I guess. Just put it in a feed bag and slurp at it. Oh my gosh.
That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty
You
much
know,
it.
man, sometimes people make fun of Texas, and I'm like, hey, that seems unfair. All right, I'm from Indiana, and I'm from rural Indiana,
Oh, man.
and fun of too. And then I hear this stuff, and I'm like, nah, okay. Yeah, it deserves it.
I feel like though, and not specifically the table salt, but I feel like that's just a thing that kids do though, is they find whatever and think it's edgy to just like, I got Smarties and I crushed them up and now I'm edgy. And this is
Oh,
what's
like the
happening.
drugs or something, and then you snort them up your nose.
Yeah. Or like, don't look at me like that.
Good Lord.
Smarties?
I did it.
That seems like a really drug addict way to say that you did. These are my Smarties, all right? I've never seen these powdered Smarties
Okay,
before.
the edgiest I got was I had those really thin pretzels, and I was like, "Look, I'm smoking a pretzel." That's it.
Yeah, the worst part of that is that pretzels are disgusting.
No, pretzels are great.
Ick.
No, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like kids are gonna find whatever and
Oh,
be like,
for
"Yeah,
sure. For
Did
sure.
your school
My
have
jam.
like small scale pizza riots?
yes."
No.
Like what would happen
Our
for us?
lunches sucked ass like every day. So even the pizza was fucking trash. Like
Well,
every single
yeah.
thing was fucking trash at my school. It was terrible. I
Our
don't think we
pizza
had.
was awesome.
I mean, it's probably why we all walked around fucking eating salt all goddamn day. It was because we really had no nutrition all fucking days. It's like, I'd rather eat this shit.
Oh
than
yeah,
fucking what
because
came out of the
pizza's
fucking-
nutritious.
I mean, I think it is a bit.
anything.
Probably better than salt.
Yeah, what
Better
happened
than
at
salt,
our school
probably.
Cardboard,
Like-
basically, is what we're fucking eating all day.
after they finished like doing lunch, if they still had leftover pizza, which they always did, they would just come and like set it on the table in the middle of the cafeteria. And then we would show up like very angry piranhas like shoving each other to get mountains of pizza. And then, like, that was fine until, like, people started doing some stuff like grabbing 18 slices of pizza, like slamming them up on their tray.
18?
No, I mean, I saw kids with mountains of pizza.
I'll tell you what, that's fucking crazy. And maybe you guys went to
What?
schools like this, but I did not at first. But my first elementary school, intermediate school, and high school, it was like you walk in single file. And there was the girl. This is actually weird because now that I actually think about it, it's weird. Our cafeteria was separated girls and guys. I don't know if that's
Was
like
it?
normal. Yeah, our cafeteria.
No.
Our cafeteria was separated girls and guys. So the guys had the left side of the lunchroom, and the girls had the right side. And then like you had your own lunch lines, and then come out, and you were supposed to sit on the guys' side of the
No.
lunchroom. Yeah.
No, but
No.
I mean, it was like separated by choice, but
Yeah, it was
we weren't,
separated by
like,
choice for us.
required.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna sit with boys because ew, I'm just gonna sit with my group of girls.
Gotcha.
No, it wasn't like
Yeah, no, we
forced.
were required. But
That's
anyways,
crazy.
so whenever I got to high school, it was my last couple days at high school at the place that I was first at. Then I ended up moving more into the city, and I went to my cousin's high school, and holy fuck was I in love when I walked in and saw that the lunchroom was like different restaurants. That was the
Oh.
shit to me. Because it was always like you had the one line and it was mystery food. You didn't know what you were going to get till you fucking got in there. To where it was like, you want pizza? This place only does pizza. You want fucking chicken? This place only does fucking chicken. You want Mexican like
Wow.
tacos and shit? This place only does tacos. And I was like, this is fucking heaven. This is literally fucking heaven. I was
That's
so
really
excited.
fancy.
Yeah, I know. And it's like
Fancy
one of the
for
worst.
high school.
It's one of the worst schools out there too. Like we literally had like fucking desks in the school. I actually got pulled to the side and almost got fined. It was like $850 or some shit like that because I threw the peace sign up to my cousin as we were walking past each other in the house. I was like, "All right, dude, see you later." And I threw up the peace sign, and it was that like there was so much gang violence in that school that they thought I was throwing up a gang sign, and we literally had cops like in our hallways, literally at all times.
Oh my
Whenever kids were
gosh.
moving back and forth. So I literally got grabbed and thrown up against the fucking wall. They started searching my backpack, started searching my person, was looking for a weapon, all kinds of shit. And they're all like, you don't fucking throw up gang signs in here. And I was like, I wasn't fighting. I just chunked the deuce.
Sorry.
Like, fuck. What do you want from me? Yeah, it was
Jeez.
pretty nutty. It was terrible as high school, so I was surprised to see that. That's for sure. That was the one school I did that, like, I made a decision. I was like, this is the school I will not bring my Yu-Gi-Oh cards to. That is for sure. It was like I'm not even lying
Bad
to you. It was
choices.
literally my second week there. There was a fight that broke out in the hallway as we were moving through, and I'll never forget the dude that was getting in a fight turned around, looked at me, and he's all like, "Hold something for me." And I opened my hands, and he dropped a pair of brass knuckles, and he's like, "Hold these, because I don't want to fucking kill this guy." And I immediately turned to the guy next to me and was like, "Yeah, you can hold this shit," and walked the fuck away. I was like, I'm not dealing with that. Nope. Mm-mm.
I thought you were about to say that he turned to you and handed over his Yu-Gi-Oh cards and was
No.
like, I don't want these to get
No.
ruined.
That would've been great.
No, that's a nerd fight. That's like
You
it's
activated
not
my
like
check
down.
card.
break out the cards. You do break out the cards, and you're like, no, my guy beat your guy. I win.
Have you guys ever seen that fucking video? It's like a 30-second video. I have to post it in the Discord, but it's like a 30-second video where it's like this kid's playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and these other guys are playing against him, and they're clearly jocks, and this dude is clearly a nerd. He's like fucking hardcore into it, right? And like they're fucking playing against each other, and they're just being dicks about laughing at him, da 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 da. And he is like, every time he does something, he's doing like hand motions, like he's shooting blasts out of his hands and shit. He's like, and then I bullet your card and shit like that, and like it is just so fucking funny to watch. It's so great. But anyways, go ahead and wrap up here. We're spots in that on, but go ahead and wrap up here. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure you like and subscribe. Also hit those notifications so that way you get notified every time we upload another video. Hit us in the comment section below. Let us know some of your school stories. We do read the comments, except for Cody, but we do read the comments. So you can hit us up with your school stories. Let us know what's going on. All right, you know how crazy you think some of our stories were. Let us know some shit. You know, we're always down to talk. But also, we got the Twitter links down there and the Twitch links as well. But at the end of all this, hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time.